Hi YouTube, welcome back to Vchannel. Just some minutes ago, after I posted the clip about the hi-fi event on September 8th, just some hour we had OM5 picture with the outlook similar the prediction, beautiful, so small. And we also have information about the new really hot flagship of DJI, that's a Mavic 3, with the leaked information and a pretty clear photo right here. First of all, we have the camera. This is the most attractive of Mavic 3. It will upgrade surely to compete the other competitor in the market, growing day by day. We have a pretty special camera. That's it. We have two lenses, one for zooming up to 7 times, with a sensor up to 4/3 inch. Very large. High ability, we have very good quality in low light condition, very sharp, and outlook in the camera is pretty well. And surely Mavic 3 will not separate to two versions like Mavic 2, that's it, Mavic 2 Zoom and Mavic 2 Pro is not separate anymore. It will merge to one, that's it, just Mavic 3. It had an optical zoom with high quality and also have the prime lens for very high quality, very sharp, and high ability. The aperture can open up to 2.8 and can adjust aperture value. At the time, the generation like Mavic Air 2, Air 2S, we can use digital zoom, but apparently, anyway, digital zoom will decrease the certain quality. And when we own optical zoom lens, we can change the focal, the quality will not decrease and very higher. This is the big step of DJI to drone market. We also have the sensor from the famous Sweden brand, Hasselblad, the premium medium format camera company, and in the real using through that this sensor is so efficiency in Mavic 2 Pro, high damage range, high detail, and Mavic 3 will have the same surely. And with the advantages of combining both of two strong points of Mavic 2 Zoom and Mavic 2 Pro, this combining is so well, it will help us record high video, can zoom many times, still remain high quality. In a situation cannot approach near, such as wild animal, sport march, or in situation we don't want to the other recognize, the zoom camera can do it so well. And in the case we want to record extreme quality, professional quality, much more sharp, wider angle, we can use prime lens camera. Prime lens will have the better quality apparently than zoom lens. And with the specification like we have right here, that's a 5.7K 24mm. Aperture can open up to 2.8. Large aperture like this, it will help us record in low light condition really good. And in the high class like this, surely the aperture can change instead of constant aperture like Air 2, Air 2S. If we want to much more function, we must pay much more. And with the variable aperture like this, we can record in low light condition so good when we open aperture and blur background so good. And when we need to have the wider depth of field, or we can change the shutter speed to cinematic shutter speed such as 150, we can close aperture as well. We don't need to use filter. That's the advantage we have when using the flagship than the lower class like Air 2, Air 2S. And in the world right now, there are many ideas about two lens camera. That's a DJI. We equip two sensors for two lens, or you mirror. It's possible actually. That means DJI use just one big sensor, then use the mirror to reflect the light. This mirror is similar to the DSLR. Like when we look at the viewfinder and take picture, when the mirror at 45 degrees like this, the light will reflect and go to viewfinder. But when the mirror rotates like this, the light will go directly to the image sensor. With a structure like this, if DJI apply on Mavic 3, it will possible apparently. We can control to get the light from zoom lens or from prime lens. Another situation that it rotate the sensor. Until now, we don't know finally which options DJI will choose for their two lens, two image sensor, rotate mirror, or rotate sensor. Next, we will talk about hardware. High ability, the control signal is same Air 2S. They will equip 4 antenna, so on of the side of the drone will have the maximum signal receive ability. Another information that is high ability, they will launch a new smart controller. Undo the current smart controller so good selling, however, is really old. The software is nearly out of date, so there is ability in the time DJI will launch new smart controller with new software, much more function, stronger signal. Okay, now we continue to talk about this drone. And the Lightroom render image compared to the photo we have is same. This image seems it's taken from a real product, then use the effect, then like they draw. And especially, it's same the previous leak information. So high ability, our Mavic 3 will like this. First of all, we see that we have the hole in front to decrease the temperature of motherboard much more better. And right in the front of, we have a new sensor, collision avoidance sensor. As can be seen, it's larger the on sensor so much, very wide angle and lack of side sensor. It's a weird. You can see less sensor, but not mean that Mavic 3 cannot recognize the obstacle avoidance like Air 2, Air 2S. Instead of that, DJI will have a new solution. That is, they will use fixed lens to widen angle of sensor like Skydio. And the next, we can see at the top, we have sensor. On the bottom, we have sensor as well. That means we have less sensor, change the position, wide the angle, and we have the new sensor in front of drone, collision avoidance sensor. And that means when we decrease the quantity of sensor, but increase the angle, that means Mavic 3 still have ability to recognize avoidance 360 degree, not like any corner. Reduce sensor on the side, we have decreased the pressure for CPU and RAM. It will help the drone can increase the frame rate. The refresh frequency can higher even for obstacle avoidance ability and camera. When we record video with very high frame rate at high resolution such as 120 frames per second at 4K, very high, we can create very high quality slow motion 4K video. Hopefully that. And the competitor that is Wholesale can do it. They can produce the product can record 120 frames per second at 4K. Next is the other point, just have on DJI. High ability, Mavic 3 have internal memory up to 1 terabyte, 1000 gig instead of 8 gig like the current version. And the memory chip technology, like this time, we can have memory card and a phone with very low capacity. They can do it apparently, just they want to do or not. They want to give the option for customer they can choose the memory card belong to their demand and their budget. Cheap for low capacity memory card or expensive for low capacity memory card, or equip the high capacity for internal memory card already. But when DJI use internal memory card for their drone, it will have write speed and read speed is very higher apparently. So the writing very high quality video to memory is so smooth. The time for copying file from the drone to computer is shorter. And it's necessary because when we record video with very high quality like this, the capacity is very low. It will terrible when copying time is so long with low speed. The other thing is paying attention that's a battery. There are some information that a DJI will equip for Mavic 3 a battery up to 5000 mAh. It will help Mavic 3 can have the flight time can over 40 minutes. Impressive. At the time, DJI drone almost around 20 to 25 minutes, and we have the render picture and recent leak image. This battery put to the drone from the back and have cover to home. Totally different than Mavic 2. It will help hold the battery better, especially in the case the drone crash is not full. And ADS-B like Air 2S will surely equip. It will help the drone can recognize the human airplane from very far distance. Like the previous leak can help LiDAR sensor, but at the time we don't have any information about LiDAR. Finally, we still don't know it's help or not. Okay, we can continue to wait the new information from DJI and I will update to you continuously. We will continue to see that how will DJI cope with the situation. Their competitor is rolling day by day to get this market segment. The game is still very interesting. Thanks for watching. If you see the clip helpful, don't hesitate to click like, share and can subscribe my channel in the clip. Bye bye, see you next time.